Hello, I'm Vinita Hampton Wright, and this is Days of Deepening Friendship. We have a guest today, one of our authors, Nancy Jo Sullivan, and we recently published Nancy's book called Small Mercies, Glimpses of God in Everyday Life. And I had the pleasure of editing this book. Of course, you know by now that most of the books I put up here I have edited, but the nice part of that is that I get to know the author. And it's really been a pleasure to get to know Nancy and to know her story. This is such an Ignatian book. It's very much what we at Loyola Press are all about, because it is about finding God in every day. And, we talk a lot about we find God in all things. The key to a vital spiritual life is to learn how to pay attention. We've talked about that on this website. Paying attention, learning to be grateful for everything, little things, big things. And so this book is a really good example from someone's life of how that works itself out. And so I'm going to begin by just asking Nancy if you can give us a short version, because I have lots of questions for you. What prompted you to write this particular book?
Well, I think this idea that in ordinary life we experience God, and sometimes we miss it.
Yeah.
And I'm now transitioning into the second half of life, and this has been a time of re-examination and renewal. And so I've had an opportunity to really think back on the moments that have brought me spiritual transformation. And what I found is that it's in the small, everyday moments, in the ordinary places and faces that define our daily lives, where we experience God.
Yeah. Now, I remember most of the stories here, but one that really touched me was where you and your daughter were doing your exercise walk around the lake, and you saw this elderly gentleman. Could you tell that story here? This is my favorite.
It's the 4th of July, very hot day, and my 21-year-old daughter and I were going on a walk, and we were kind of striding, and I'm a little proud because I can still keep up with her. So, but we were walking around the lake, and a few steps in front of us we saw a man. His gait was slow, and he was limping, an elderly gentleman. And my mom said, "Look," or my daughter said, "Look, he's limping." And so we slowed down, and as we passed him, we noticed that he was holding a teddy bear. And my daughter said to him, "Oh my, that's a nice little bear that you're holding." And he said, "I'm carrying it for my wife." And he went on to tell us that his wife had breast cancer, and that he was going to be walking for her, and he had to get in shape. And so as we walked with him, I began to think that that was really a powerful expression of love. And in my own life, I thought, who would I carry a bear for? And certainly my daughters came to mind. And that was a pretty profound moment for me, because I thought I'd carry that bear even if I had a limp. But that's just kind of an example of how in everyday moments we find grace and mercy, and I think it's important to be on the lookout for those moments.